Are you a busy mom and does your back hurt during activities of daily living, like picking up your little one all the time or during bath time, or perhaps when you're trying to do a tough workout? Well, our next guest has got just the trick for you. Joy from the London Physio is joining us on Zoom to tell us the exercises she gives her clients to do just the trick. Hey there, Joy. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks, Anna.
All the way from London.
I know.
Yeah, there you go. So I know this is incredibly common. How often do women come to you and say, what can I do differently? Because my back is in pain.
Oh my goodness. Back pain itself is common. Amongst women, really common, and certainly amongst mothers, just because we're constantly using our hands, we're feeding baby, we're carrying baby, we're bending forwards, changing nappies.
Yes.
But even as human beings, outside of what you're doing with baby, pretty much everything else you do involves using your hands or doing it forward. So there's a lot of pull on the back because there's a lot of tightness in the shoulders, in the chest, in the pecs, and a lot of weakness in the back. So that really causes an imbalance in the muscles that really support your spine and your core, and that tends to lead to back pain.
You know, a lot of that actually comes from posture problems too, doesn't it? Because we've got all these crazy hormones that happen during pregnancy, and then the activities of daily living causing us to lean forward all the time and get out of that neutral alignment. So let's try to get in neutral alignment during some of our activities of daily living. So the first one that you have given us as an activity of daily living is breastfeeding. So very often, you know, we're new moms, we're trying to figure out what is going on, and everything is new during this like sleepy-eyed time. And instead of going down and rounding the shoulders like this to baby, one of the better things to do is to bring the baby to you and have cushions around you. Why is that?
It's so important, literally because of all the things that we've mentioned. It's natural for us to have our hands are in front, we work in front, we get that natural tightness with the pecs. So when you have baby and you have an extra weight in front of you, and especially when that weight is pulling you forwards, that just compounds. It adds to the layers of stress on your back. So it's actually important to bring baby to you so that you can get into a much more natural alignment. But instead of holding baby in that position because your arms would get tired, you can literally, you can literally prop pillows, especially if you're sitting. You can obviously put pillows on your lap. So baby's weight is actually being supported, and you can still breastfeed, and there's less stress on your back.
Okay, what you've got for us is some exercises that will help to make things a little bit better. So you have a band, I have a band. I like to call these posture pull-aparts. You can call them TheraBand pull-aparts, what have you. Why is this so good?
Now this is great because actually what this does is it strengthens the muscles in between the shoulder blades. So you're doing a great demonstration if my bands would work. So you're starting off in, I would say about like 90 degrees, you know, with your shoulder. So sort of like essentially 90 degrees perpendicular to the floor, parallel to the floor, sorry. And then you're staying there and just going outward, but you're not just pulling out for no reason. You're squeezing your shoulder blades behind you. And then when you release, also release from the shoulder blades. You don't need to hold at the end, and you can do that about 10 times. And it's so easy, yet so effective.
Yes, so we're really concentrating on squeezing our shoulder blades behind us like we're squeezing a lemon or cracking a walnut or something like that to really work those posture muscles.
Absolutely.
And you notice I'm just wearing my everyday clothes. These are not strenuous exercises. It's not going to make you sweat. You can even do this when you're sitting at your desk or something.
Exactly. And by doing this as well, you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. So as well as strengthening the muscles at the back in between the shoulder blades, you are stretching your chest wall as well, because we tend to, especially when we're carrying baby, feeding, all of that, we tend to tighten up the chest wall. So actually you're doing two things at once. That is super important to maintain that good posture.
Yeah, very good. And the next activity of daily living that causes lots of back pain is bath time. And we can't avoid bath time. And it seems like, you know, something that we have to get used to when we have an infant. But then as they get even bigger, you know, like I've got kind of a little toddler here, bigger and heavier, it puts even more stress on the back, doesn't it? So what solutions do you have for that?
I mean, can I also just pick up on the fact that you've hit the nail on the head about baby's weight. As baby grows and baby gets bigger, just think about baby's weight as extra weight on your spine every time you bend forwards. So in terms of the things that we can do, I mean, that depends on your setup. I don't know about you, but I mean, I've never had a baby, but where I come from, in my culture, what we do is we get in the bath with the baby.
Oh, how nice.
So you would, so you would find mom sitting in the bath with the baby. So that way you're not bending all the way down to reach forwards and hold baby and make sure baby doesn't drown and do things in the bath. But you can get in the bath. Also, if you have a high sink, if baby's small enough to fit into a high sink, it's actually better to bring baby up to you and give them a bath in that. They'll never know. I mean, as long as the sink's clean.
I have a cute picture of my mom actually bathing me in our utility room sink. Like, it's, you know, it doesn't have to be fancy. So I like that. Also getting in the bath with your little one, that's nice, lovely skin on skin contact, and helping bonding when they're really small like that as well. So, and really just, what about having shorter baths? We could always.
Oh my gosh, yes. You don't have to spend like, you know, an hour giving baby a bath. Like, for the most part, babies are clean anyway. So, you know, as long as they have a nice wash, and it doesn't have to be this long thing. And actually, I think that helps with the stress, because I can imagine as a mom, like, it's a busy time for you. You're stressed, you're not getting enough sleep. So wherever you can actually save time, it works in your favor as well as for your spine.
Okay, and how about some exercises that we can do for core stability that will really help us, you know, because we have to bathe our kids, and some people don't have to think, and some, you know, some folks don't want to get in the bathtub and use these other ideas that you have for us. So some exercises that could help with the core stability. What do you have for us?
I've got a simple exercise. Everybody can do this whilst you're waiting for your cup of tea or whatever. I'm going to teach you what we call a pelvic tilt. So I'm going to do a sideways view. In fact, I'll do a sideways view this way. Okay. So with a pelvic tilt, essentially what you want to do is think about your body in alignment. You're in one nice long straight line, right? So you essentially keep the top half steady, and then you just tilt forwards and backwards. This would be what we call a posterior tilt, where you're pushing your belly into yourself. So it's essentially engaging that core, and then tilting your bum, tucking your bum under. So that's a posterior tilt, right? An anterior tilt is when you do the opposite. So you're lengthening your core stability, and then you're tightening the muscles at the back as well. So that's really great when you just basically do that 10, 15 times. You can do it in standing, you can do it in sitting, you can do it on the bed even.
So that helps with the core stability. Our glutes also are a powerhouse, but they can help, you know, with stability as well. What exercise could we do that you have for us for some glute building?
You know, I love me some glutes exercise. Super simple, Anna. I mean, sometimes what people do is they get like bands and they put them around the legs. You've probably seen, the matching. You've probably seen lots of people do this. Super easy. These are the London Physio bands, mind you. And then we basically just go out to the side. So you're standing on one leg. If your balance is poor, you can hold on to something to support, or you can basically just stand on one leg and then take the other leg out to the side. You're keeping your toes pointing forwards, your heel is pointing backwards, so you're not twisting your foot, and you're just going out to the side and back in. And this is great because also the standing leg is working.
Work on that balance too, because balance is one of the first things to go.
Absolutely.
As well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love this. One mistake I do see when people do this exercise, they accidentally go like this.
Right, don't do that.
Right, yeah.
Stay in that position, because you've got to think about it as angles. Like if you were in this position, sort of neutral, and your leg was going out to the side, you're going to have to use your big muscles, i.e. your glutes, to get that movement. The moment you go to the side, the angle changes. And the other thing I use these for, so the pelvic tilt in this, is actually mobility as well in the spine. Because of all the pressure from bending forwards, from sitting down with baby, from doing continuous movements, you need that mobility in the lower back, which is one of the biggest causes of back pain for moms, the lack of mobility. So these two, fantastic.
Yeah, after both of my babies were born, I felt like I needed a little WD-40 on my hips. Things just don't feel exactly right after you've had your little one. Okay, next up, we're going to use a dumbbell or a kettlebell for simulating picking up baby or toddler from a crib, right? So that's another time where very often it causes back pain, especially as they get bigger, where we're rounding our shoulders. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but what suggestions do you have?
Yeah, so for this, before we even go into the exercise, we need to think about how old is baby? Can baby get up? When you're picking baby up from the crib, can you go, hey little miss, do you mind getting up so I can pick you up? Because they raise their arms, right? Because if they're babies, like absolute babies, fine. But if they can actually get up, they're already heavy enough. You don't want that added stress, and it's great for them. It's bonding with mom, but it's also great for the baby. So the exercise we're gonna do, you've got a dumbbell and I've got a kettlebell. I'm gonna go this way. It's called a good morning. So you hold the weight close to you.
That's a nice
and good morning. Yeah, good morning. And you hip hinge. You hip hinge. So this is all coming from the hips, bending forwards. Try and keep your back as straight as you can. And if you do it properly, you will feel the pull in your hamstring. So the muscles at the back, all the way down your leg from the hip. So you would feel that pull. So as you go down with the weight, you would actually feel, if you're hinging properly, you would feel the pressure on the hamstrings. And as you come up, try not to go all the way back either.
Now, I know you mentioned that you've started a podcast and you've gotten into life coaching as well. And this is a huge passion of yours. Tell me about that.
Oh my goodness, thank you for asking. So my podcast is called Like Yourself. I'm 35 now, and it's just amazing how life has really happened. I feel like in your 20s, when you're in your teens, like life is just good. But as you get older, life really hits you, And it's just, we have such deep conversations about life, about dealing with fear, about finding your purpose, just living the most authentic version of yourself unapologetically. And it's great. We're on our podcast platforms. We have videos on YouTube as well. And through that, I do a lot of life coaching.
One of the reasons I wanted to have you on Your Day with Anna Koyman is because I love your energy so much. And I can see why women are coming to you and asking you about things besides just, how to fix their back pain, which often can come from stress and mental health things as well, because we can hold our attention there as well. So you are a woman of many talents, and thank you so much for sharing your expertise today.
Thank you so much for having me. I love your energy. I love what you're doing. And I'm so blessed and privileged to be on a small part of this journey with you. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Joy.
Bye.
Thank you. If you enjoyed that video, please, while you're here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you find out when we release our next video. Thanks a lot. See you soon.